Hello there. I'm Robin Thomas, and I'm the founder of Living Well Connections. I help people stop feeling powerless about their health by guiding them through ways to get started with healthy habits without becoming overwhelmed. I founded the Living Well Connections as a community that supports, educates, and empowers us all to make healthy decisions toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. And today, I am so very excited to introduce you to Tracy Beerman. Did you ever wish there was a way to take your yoga off the mat and into your life? After decades of yoga and mind-body exploration, Tracy Nolin Beerman uses her unique combination of experiences as a vibe coach, a certified life mastery consultant, and almost 30 years on the yoga mat to help moms keep their yoga vibe flowing both on and off the mat, no matter what comes next. And absolutely, with I know being a busy mom yourself, and I'm a busy mom, that happens. Life gets in the way of our yoga practice.
Yes.
So it just really does, doesn't it? And I really want to know more about it. I'm excited to know more about that and how you can help moms take their yoga off the mat and into their life. But I also know you have a powerful personal story. And I would like to know a little bit, first start off with a little bit about when and how did you get interested in giving back with what you're doing, with the service you're providing? What got you interested in that? What happened in your life?
Well, Robin, thank you for having me, first of all. And when my son's going to be 14 in August, but when he was around 3 years old, I noticed some concerning behavior, some negativity, and pessimism and self-loathing in a 3-year-old, and that really got my attention. So initially, what's wrong with him? There's got to be something wrong with him. So, I read the books, I did the courses, talked to the pediatrician and all of that. I didn't realize it then, but he was getting it from me. That was my low vibe. It was not his. He was getting it from me. You see, on the outside, I was his mom. I was happy. I was doing all the mom things. On the inside, I was a hot mess. I hadn't fully healed from the PTSD of his birth. I was feeling isolated, just out of control, and really just lacking joy. So I was sharing all of my prickly feels with him, almost by osmosis. If you ever wonder if your kids are watching you, they are. And it's not necessarily, I like to say that they're always watching us with their little eyes, ears, and hearts, right? It's they're getting what's going on in the home and in yourself too. So I got busy. I started really digging into, first thing I started doing was pulling apart my life and what's not working, right? And it was almost like cleaning out a closet. I took everything out of the closet, everything out of my life. And then I didn't know what to do next, right? I knew what I didn't want, but I didn't know what I did want until I met my coach, who introduced me to the work that I do now, to introduce me to living a vision-driven life. As soon as I met her, I knew that's exactly what I want to do. So now I help moms, and basically, like you said, I have been on the yoga mat for almost 30 years. Always. I've tried all kinds of modalities, always come back to the yoga mat. But now I'm able to help moms take that yoga feeling, that yoga vibe off the mat. That was something I wasn't able to do. I felt amazing on the mat, but when, as soon as I walked out the door, that hot mess was there.
The life happened, and
life happens, right? Yeah. So that's my journey. So, and I think about, that was almost 10 years ago now, which is crazy to me.
It's amazing what can happen in 10 years. And what I love about your story is you found somebody, you were open, you were looking and open for information, or if it's not information, just something that would help. And you heard it. I mean,
I did.
Often, many of us walk through life without listening to it. We just focused on the negativity, and we're not open to the hope
Yeah. And
Fabulous.
honestly, I was on my knees. I was praying. I don't know what to do next. That, but
Yeah.
here's the good thing. We don't have to be on our knees to get help and support. And to all we need is a corner of our minds open to the possibility that there's something that we don't know about yet.
Right. Right. And then get out there and listen to people.
Yeah. And listen to that. I call it your inner mentor, right? Listening and just in following. That's the thing. We can listen, right? Your inner mentor is your intuition, but it's we can hear it. And I've been hearing it for years. I just I wasn't following it. I was listening, but I wasn't following. And that's the key, the following, because you're going
The
to keep
follow.
getting those little nudges, and sometimes they come in the form of an accident or some kind of health issue or some other way, right? But they're constant. Go this way, go
Yes.
this way.
Absolutely. And sometimes, like you said, I love this vision of your yoga off the mat into your life, because when you're doing yoga, it's a mindful meditation while you're doing the yoga.
Right.
And sometimes those little voices start happening when you're doing that, right?
That's exactly it. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the work I do is taking that off the mat. It's not exactly the same, that same, it's that energized body, calm mind. It's not exactly the same, but it's that empowerment, that empowerment
Absolutely.
of I can choose the way I want to feel. It's huge.
Absolutely. So leading into that, I know people are going to want to know what you do. How do you work with your clients? How, what, take us through meeting a client for the first time and what would happen the first time you talk to them, and then what steps you can do to help them.
Yes. So the very first thing I call it the Raise Your Vibe Toolkit. The very first thing is, if because sometimes people are not ready for a conversation,
Mhm.
and so I invite them to download this toolkit, and it's really a way to see your life differently and see it from an empowering way, right? And it's a toolkit full of little things that help you raise your vibe, right? To raise your vibration,
Yeah.
little things that we can do every single day. So it doesn't have to be, I feel amazing when I go to Hawaii. These are little things that we can do throughout the day,
Yeah.
right? So it's a guide for creating your own toolkit. And
Oh, that's
then
wonderful.
having a conversation, a 15-minute conversation, just to see if we're a good fit, if I can help you. And
Mhm.
then the main part of what I do. So the toolkit is the raising your vibe, right? Which is that is your taking your yoga off the mat. It's I can do this myself. I can raise my vibe. I can feel good. I don't have to wait until 24 hours when I get on my yoga mat again, or stay on my yoga mat 24 hours a day, right?
Right.
But what I do is I help women to create what I call a life vision. And a life vision is the most powerful tool in that Raise Your Vibe toolkit. And I call it living a vision driven life. So I help them to round out and decide what they want based on who they are, right? Based on
Okay.
who they are at their core. Because a lot of times we're deciding, oh, I want that thing, I want that, I want to be that, but it's not based on who we are. So a lot of times we feel wonky, we feel off, and that's because we're not honoring ourselves. So and I take women through what I call the FAB framework. The first part is focus, and that's the vision. That's creating a vision based on who you are, and really diving into core values. Who you are at your core.
We don't, if we don't know where we're going, if we don't know where we are, just think of if you're looking at a map. If
Right.
you don't know where you're starting, you're never going to get to where you're going. You have to know that.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And that's what I realized, that I was living my life based on pushing away from what I didn't want. So it
Mhm.
wasn't getting me anywhere. It's just a subtle shift, but huge. It's just a little shift, and it's a little shift every day, right? A little shift in, oh,
Yeah.
I'm moving in this direction. And honestly, during this whole pandemic that we've been through, living a vision-driven life has saved me and my clients, right? Because we're moving toward what we want. We have circumstances, stuff's going on, but we're moving toward what we want. So it's the focus is the first, is the F in the FAB framework. Align. That's the A in the FAB framework. Aligning your thoughts and your vibration, right, with the woman that you are in the vision, not who you are
fabulous.
Right now, based on what the vibe of last year at this time, right? Based on who you're becoming. And the B is the becoming part, right? Learning how to listen to your inner mentor and become that woman in your daily life. Because that woman in your vision is not a place to get to. She's not a goal to be reached. You become her. And it's such a different, it's subtle, but huge, Robin. It's a huge, huge shift. And this is living your yoga off the mat.
Oh, I resonate with this so much.
I know you do. Yeah, we're pretty aligned.
We are pretty aligned. And I know that I do have my vision, and I do read it every morning. I mean, that's one of the things I've done to get that ingrained in me. Right. And just like, oh yeah, I'm moving this is the direction I'm moving.
Yeah, it's the
very
connection.
Helpful. It really helps me. It just helps me get going for the day. Yeah. That and a little bit of yoga in the morning.
Yes, and definitely the yoga. Yeah, after 30 years, I've tried all kinds of different things, always come back to the mat. That mind, body, soul connection is huge.
It is huge. It is huge. I've always said I have difficulty meditating unless I'm actually doing something physically. So my meditation is always a movement meditation. It's either yoga or it's taking a walk in the woods, or it's the combination thing. I think that's just the way my psyche works.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked before about how, there's not a one size fits all, right? No. We find the best way for us and our bodies and our minds and our souls.
It's true. Well, it sounds like it's phenomenal to work with you. But what's your favorite part of your business? What do you love the most?
My favorite part of my business is kind of seeing the light bulb go off when I'm working with women, when they realize that they are so much more than they ever thought that they were, when they open that corner of their mind to possibility. And when they realize that they get to choose how they experience life. We tend to experience life as, coming at us, but we get to choose how we experience it, what we want to think about it. And again, the pandemic is just a glowing example of, we could choose to see the gloom and doom, which was rampant last year, or we can choose to see it in, wow, opportunity. There is opportunity, and finding those little gold nuggets, right? But we get to choose our experience. It's incredibly empowering. So when I get to see the light bulb go off and it's almost like the shoulders roll back and the head's held high. It's really it brings tears to my eyes.
That's just a transformation.
Yeah.
It'll transform their whole lives.
That's exactly
and anything that happens, again, now it's like, okay, that happened, but what is my perception of it?
Right. And what am I going to make of it?
And what am I going to make of it?
It doesn't have to be that it's happening to me. What am I going to do? It's turning it around, and it's not easy. And some days it's 100 times a day in myself. Right. And I teach this work. I'm completely immersed in this work, but even for me, some days it's 100 times a day. I'm reframing and refocusing.
It's a practice.
It's a practice, just like yoga. That's it. It's the yoga off the mat.
Yeah. You don't expect to be perfect.
No.
We're never perfect, and we wouldn't want to be perfect.
No, if it was perfect, we wouldn't have that contrast, and we wouldn't appreciate when things are good, right?
If we're perfect, we'd be stagnant because we wouldn't be learning anything.
That's it, because we wouldn't. What would be the point in learning, or creating goals or moving towards something if everything was joyful and perfect all the time? Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's absolutely great. Well, I want to know how people can reach you. And it seems like from talking with you, you actually could speak with people through Zoom. You don't have to be face to face. Am I correct?
That's exactly it. Yes, that
Yes.
is the beauty.
So
And
you,
yes, I use Zoom, and I'm a busy mom too. And it's easier, it's more realistic.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a podcast. So if you're interested in learning, I like to, it's called the Vision Driven Mom podcast. And it's a podcast about possibility and opportunity in life for moms. You can find me at visiondrivenmom.com. That's my website.
Mhm.
There's a contact. If you go to the contact page, you can shoot me an email and let's get on the phone. I would love that. If you're not quite ready to get on the phone with me, the Raise Your Vibe toolkit is an amazing, simple way to start adding little bits of joy into your life, so you can begin to raise your vibe on your own. I teach you more. It's kind of a starter kit, basically, is what it is, but it's super powerful. So you can find that at highvibetoolkit.com. I am on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest as Vision Driven Mom. So please reach
And
out. Tell me that you heard me speaking with Robin.
and I will post all those links under the video, so you can just click and be right there with Tracy in
Perfect.
any of these places. That's wonderful. Well, this has been so much fun.
Yes, Robin, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
It is. It is. We need to talk more often.
We do. We do. And we could do this on Zoom, right?
We can do it on Zoom. We can.
Until we are able to meet live again,
Then we'll have lunch.
Yes, exactly. That sounds beautiful.
Well, thank you everyone for listening and learning about Tracy. Please, I can't imagine anyone who wouldn't want to want that Raise Your Vibe toolkit. So definitely go on to that. And if you're interested, if you're not already in Living Well Connections, if you're interested in joining the community, and it's free too, go to livingwellconnections.info. You'll learn a little bit more about us, and you'll receive a gift, a free ebook I have written, 5 ways to get started with healthy habits without getting overwhelmed. And you know what? I think those two would go together really well. Get a healthy habit. It sounds like your Raise Your Vibe toolkit is really developing these habits that are raising your vibration.
That's exactly it.
Fabulous. Well, thank you very much, Tracy. And I really appreciate you so much. It's been wonderful. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Goodbye for now.